In the year 1192, the ancient city of Delhi fell, taking an entire era of Rajput dominance down with it. The man ruling that territory was PrithViraj Chauhan. He controlled a massive, battle-hardened empire and commanded a military force that most rivals considered invincible. An empire of that size, sitting at the absolute peak of its defensive capabilities, shouldn't crack overnight. Muhammad of Ghor, pushing eastward from his own expanding empire, certainly delivered the final military strike. But the crack in Delhi's armor was already there. It was hammered in from the inside, triggered by a bitter personal feud between two neighboring Indian kings over a kidnapped bride. This personal rift between the two most powerful kings in the north did more than just end a friendship. It created a strategic vacuum that an outside invader was waiting to fill. This map lays out the tension. West of Delhi lay PrithViraj's kingdom. East was the Garahadavala kingdom, ruled by Jayachandra. He organized a grand ceremony, forcing neighbors to acknowledge his supremacy. PrithViraj bluntly refused, turning a quiet rivalry into a public insult. Jayachandra fired back. He arranged a traditional husband selection ceremony for his daughter, Samyogita, and deliberately left PrithViraj off the guest list. Samyogita had her own plans. Having heard stories of PrithViraj's military campaigns, she declared she would marry him and no one else. PrithViraj responded by riding directly into the hostile capital of Kannauj. He brought exactly 100 elite warriors, scooped up the princess, and rode out. Getting in was the easy part. To secure his escape back to Delhi, 2/3 of those warriors had to sacrifice their lives as a rearguard to hold off the massive pursuing Garahadavala army. 66 of the kingdom's finest military commanders lay dead. The bloodshed over this single wedding ceremony guaranteed that a unified Rajput military alliance was now entirely out of the question. You have to wonder, is a story about 100 doomed warriors and a kidnapped princess actual history, or just a romantic myth? The legend survives largely through 3 key texts: the epic poem PrithViraj Raso, Abul Fazal's Ain-e-Akbari, and the Surjanacharita. Yet, if you look at the official Gadavala royal records, there is absolutely no mention of an elopement, or even the grand Rajaswaya ceremony that started the whole fight. Plotting these 3 literary accounts on a timeline, historians point out a crucial detail. All 3 firmly anchor the abduction before the disastrous battles of 1192. Because they converge here, historians conclude a core truth of the kidnapping actually happened. We might never verify the exact body count or the romantic dialogue, but the geopolitical fallout was undeniably real. 2 massive empires that shared a border were now locked in a fatal, permanent estrangement. Back in Delhi, PrithViraj's priorities shifted completely. He became entirely infatuated with his new wife, Samyogita. He spent nearly all his time with her and effectively abandoned his administrative duties. Urgent state affairs piled up, and routine military readiness was ignored. Muhammad of Ghor timed his eastern invasion perfectly. His armies struck precisely while the Chauhan leadership was distracted, disorganized, and politically isolated. Because of the kidnapped princess and the slaughtered guards, Jayachandra simply watched. He kept his massive Garahadavala army at home and offered 0 military support to his neighbor. The Chauhan forces were routed. Shortly after, the isolated Garahadavala kingdom fell as well, clearing the entire region for what would eventually become the Delhi Sultanate. The collapse of these kingdoms wasn't a failure of technology or courage. It was the result of a domestic rivalry that left northern India open, ending the era of Rajput dominance and establishing the foundation for the Delhi Sultanate.